A mother's greatest moment when bringing a child into this world is celebrating it with family and friends. Well, unfortunately, my mother was unafforded to have that opportunity because here she was, incarcerated in Newark, New Jersey. Yes, I was the child being born in a prison. This child would obviously grow and would begin to go through a lot of childhood trauma, all the way up to enough being able to go into a behavioral health facility at the age of 10. Behavior all over the place, misunderstood, going through a lot of trials and tribulations that I faced in my early years really led me on a very poor trajectory. I felt misunderstood. I felt like I was alone. And the truth be told, I felt like life had really given me a bad card to deal with. I felt like I was defeated. And in fact, I hadn't been given a fair shot like my other peers and classmates who unfortunately was not born into prison to an incarcerated mother. I can remember being in this facility, feeling heartbroken, taken away from my family, and recognizing that I wasn't so normal like everybody else. That there was a reason that I came into this facility to get just a little bit more support and help that I needed. And I never forget being at the facility, getting that phone call. My father had passed away. And it felt like the world was crumbling down on me. As not living with my mother and father, staying with my aunt and uncle, who had stepped in before social services could take charge. Losing now one of my parents, someone that I really wouldn't get to know as well, was taken away from me at a very early age. This grief would do a tremendous impact on the psychological impact of myself, to others, my behaviors again, the way that I interacted with others, weight gain, the list goes on and on. Adverse childhood experiences had really, really taken my soul at such an early age. But I got lucky enough that during this facility time that I was serving, getting the treatment that I needed, I met a really cool mentor by the name of Mr. Jesse. You know, Mr. Jesse was very unique. He had a way of really, really talking with people. He really helped me out. I really trusted Mr. Jesse. Fast forward in life, I'm let out. I enter gang activities, skipping of school, trying different drugs. The list goes on and on. And here I was, one moment away from being charged as a felony in my senior year in high school for a firearm. And recognizing that in this place, it really reminded me of something. Like it felt very familiar, and I almost felt like I was at home. But in fact, I wasn't. It's where I was born at. So it felt like it all came together. So I fell into a deeper depression. And I felt like I didn't want to go further. That life had really, at this point, cut me off, and that I probably would die here. And I remember the judge giving me a second chance, saying that, Mr. Lewis, I believe that you can do it, but I don't want to see you back in my courtroom, and that if I do, I will assure you that you'll do the most adult time that's possible. Because I know who you run with. I know the neighborhood you live in, and I know it's very optimal for you to do this again. And going through this period of time, I told the judge that I would like another chance. That experience led me to going to college and going to work in behavioral health, getting my first job, working with other young men that looked like me, recognizing that there was such a gap and there was such a huge need for addressing the mental health of young black men in America. And I knew that I can do something about it. I knew that my prior experiences really, truly gave me a seat at changing this trajectory, regardless of my background, regardless if I didn't want to become a physician or not. that I had went through recovery and that I know I can help solve this problem. Fast forward 2016, the Confess Project was born. It's a national grassroots initiative that focuses on training black barbers across America to be mental health advocates. We train these barbers by active listening, empathy, compassion, training them on working with over 100 clients per month that each barber can see and changing their lives. Untapped potential, everyday people that's on the front lines of changing the mental health care system. These barbers are very impactful. They have a true and definitive way of speaking with someone weekly. As a matter of fact, there's more than just talking about politics, relationships. They often talk about how the Dallas Cowboys lost this past Sunday. Barbershop talk, what do we call it? It's a safe place, a place for communities, and a place where people come to really heal and truly thrive. 90% of our barbers stated that they'd rather receive mental health care and treatment inside of a barbershop rather than going to a behavioral health facility. And in fact, 50% of them are more inclined about mental health education than they were before. We had a barber here in Philadelphia that had a client sit in his chair and told him he wanted to kill himself. Do you know how that would make you feel if someone told you that? But on the other hand, we had another barber in Memphis, Tennessee that had a client to do the same exact thing. Thank God he went through our training. He was able to get that client to resources and support and perform the crisis intervention that we teach, and was able to help their client save his life. We've partnered with Harvard University. In a long 8-month study, Harvard has interviewed our barbers in recognizing that not only they are change agents, but they truly are suicide prevention gatekeepers in the black community. That they can also be a part of solving crimes and violence as well, because of their reach with people that's very hard to reach, that the system can't get to. The Confess Project has now trained to over 1,000 barbers by the end of this month in 40 cities. I'm an Echo and Green Fellow. I'm a Roddenberry Fellow. We've also partnered with foundations such as Gillette, Snapchat, family foundations from Atlanta and all across the United States. We've been named one of the number 7 health companies by Fast Company for our most innovative intervention that we have in barbershops. The Confess Project reimagined looking at young men that had a Mr. Jesse, recognizing that those relationships are very pivotal. And those relationships were also pivotal when I used to go to my aunt's beauty salon as a kid. And recognizing that this all connects, that we can truly solve a greater issue and a greater problem. Will you join us? Thank you.